So, it's been a while. You might say that and think, Lauren, that's ridiculous. You've made so much stuff in the past year. What I mean is that it has been a while since I've made a long-form scripted video, which has weighed on me quite a bit, both personally and monetarily, considering that those are the videos that tend to do the best in the algorithm. I have had an extremely busy year. I studied abroad for a month in London last summer and then had to go back to school. As soon as I came back, I got cast in principal roles in 2 musicals this year, which was very, very exciting and extremely exhausting. I performed my junior classical voice recital, I gave quite a few premieres of original pieces, I had to start figuring out how professional acting auditions work, all while dealing with some pretty significant personal issues. I had my first somewhat long-term, serious, grown-up relationship, which is of course over now, but was nonetheless a very cherished and significant part of my life. This past semester, I also went through the process of and have now officially been diagnosed with autism, which is huge for me. And I spent a lot more time with friends than I have in the past, which often meant not grinding in my room on projects for hours by myself. Burnout comes for us all eventually, and here recently it has come for me kind of hard. I, as you may know, have a tendency to set diabolically high expectations for myself, which I can rarely realistically achieve. A mistake I have made in the past year frequently is comparing the level of productivity in terms of my own personal creative projects of myself while being a full-time student in an extremely busy and competitive degree to the level of productivity I exhibited during the pandemic when I had nothing else to do, which is simply impossible. I have had so many projects in the past year that I really wanted to do, which ended up falling through the cracks, some of which I promised I would make in videos and now have gone untouched for a year or several months. The normal album video essay. And when I have been able to sit down and make semi-long form content this year, it's often been about things that made me sad. I've also done pretty little in the composing department in this past year. I tweaked some orchestrations in the first semester, I wrote a song for my English lit class, and that was kind of it. I got some really good ideas for a song about Jinx and Silco from Arcane, and I did a couple of vlogs about it, which have gone unupdated for 2 months. And the thing about me is that when I'm not being super creative or productive, it is very easy for me to forget that I am capable of being creative or productive. I get really anxious often that I am losing my ability to write or to have original insights and thoughts about things. And this fear ends up perpetuating itself. That fear eats away at my faith in my abilities, which makes it harder for me to go back to writing, whether it's writing video essays or songs, and then I keep not writing, and then I keep getting more afraid that I'm losing my ability to do so, and it just snowballs and snowballs and snowballs. So lately I have really been trying to give myself grace, and I thought that today I would do something that I think will be good for me in order to get back in the swing of being in front of a camera and talking to you guys. That is, do a little walk down memory lane and read through some of my favorite comments that you guys have left on my channel over the years. It took me 2 days to get through everything and sort out exactly which ones I wanted to feature in a video. There were so many lovely comments that unfortunately did not make it in. I am really, really lucky to have some of the kindest subscribers on the whole internet who say some of the most intelligent and funny and delightful things, which far, far, far dwarfs any discomfort I have ever received from hate comments over the years. So this is my way of showing some appreciation for you guys' support and also for myself and all of the work I've put into this channel, because sometimes I need it. So our first comment is from one of the first singing videos I ever did, Ex-Wives from 6, but I sing all the parts. And my friend Taylor commented, "Adam Lambert just heard this and stepped down to let you take his spot in Queen." Genuinely one of the coolest things anyone has ever said to me. Core memory. I picked 2 comments from my first video essay, The Beautifully Crafted Tragedy of Riza Hawkeye and Roy Mustang. The first one is from my Tumblr mutual Katya. "It's the Roy I essay, Lauren. I can't fangirl about this enough. In all seriousness, I have heard most of these points already, from you, obviously, but you compiled them so well it was like experiencing their relationship for the first time. I was especially struck by the fact of the tunnel scene making Riza realize she doesn't want to die. Whatever one's label for their relationship is, they can't argue that it would be worse for them to be apart than together, for all the reasons you listed. Royai is really the perfect relationship to make into a story you need. Happy ending or tragic ending, grand gestures or quiet affection. Exactly, because it's so tragic and understated to begin with. When you're at the bottom, the only way to go is up. You get it, you get it. P.S. The humorous parts were so freaking funny, probably because they were relatable, LMAO. Did I mention that I adore not only the Royai insight in this, but also you? I don't know how to put it into words, but your remarks and reactions and the way you talk are amazing to watch, and I wouldn't like this essay to be narrated by anyone else. And then, in a very different kind of loveliness, at SGME Deepak Chauhan, I'm sorry, I'm gonna butcher a lot of these, simply said, God bless you, sweet potato. This one's from Answering People's Questions in Riza Hawkeye cosplay from another one of my friends, Gracie. She says, the amount of work and dedication you put into Mercutio, you deserve that role for sure. Thank you. The fact that your favorite part of playing Elsa was meeting the little children afterwards makes my heart so soft. You're so pure. Oh, they were so sweet. I miss them. Also, a very sweet compliment from Gracie on 1 step forward and 3 steps back. Your head voice is the 8th wonder of the world. Stop. This one's on my cover of Deja Vu. It's from at Adzo5728. I really love all of your Olivia Rodrigo covers. You capture the emotions so well while singing them in their own way rather than directly reflecting all of Olivia's inflections. I usually have a hard time listening to covers. It's usually a me problem rather than an issue with the covers. I suppose I just get attached to what I'm used to and anything different registers as off, but I didn't experience that at all with these. If I used YouTube for playlists, I would toss these in right alongside the originals. Oh my gosh. It's also super fun to see you act along with the songs. The sass for this one is on point. Thank you, I tried. This one's from Noradora, who I believe is one of my Royai Tumblr mutuals, on a series talk about Full Metal Alchemist. You get it! I have so many thoughts about Full Metal Alchemist, and it really does frustrate me to no end how so many people can love this show but not understand it. There are undeniably blind spots, and it is by no means exempt from criticism, but it does so much right and explores extremely complicated topics with astounding nuance. I have a goal to write an academic paper about FMA and militarism, and I might quote some things in this video if that's all right with you. Oh my god. You really hit the nail on the head with everything in this video, and I agree wholeheartedly. Great job. Love your channel. BTW. Smiley face. I remember being really, really nervous about how that video was going to be received when it came out, because it was one of my first videos where I was talking about like something really serious and kind of risky to talk about, which was like all of the socio-political issues in FMA, the genocide, and everything related to that. So the fact that people responded to it so well, and most of my points in that I think still hold up, really means a lot to me. This one is on my cover of You Don't Know This Man, which I posted like right before I went to college, and I look back on that video and I'm like, oh my god, I could sing that song so much better now. But it's from at comrade_Salem, and it's the first of one of my favorite genres of comments, which is comments comparing me to people I really admire. This is one of my favorite musical theater songs, mine too, and you do it so beautifully. Just the quiet rage you start the second verse with, that's what I was going for. The crescendo to 115, I couldn't look away. I was getting Steph J. Block vibes. Oh my god, she's like my diva. Like, she's everything I want to be in this world. At Amazing Person 5992, I am sure you are. Just wanted to let you know that this video and the Royai essay and the Royai being canon video were my 3 major contributors into tossing me right back into my 8-year-long FMA obsession again. Your analysis for this video is flawless. I love how you analyze every part of the scene. When you mentioned that Roy is one of the characters we deliberately don't get to know about until a bit later, it was an oh yeah, that makes sense moment. I love when I have those. Because flame alchemy was never the greatest weapon in Roy's arsenal. It was his heart. You cooked so hard with this line. All props to you. I kind of did. Yeah, I did cook with that. And while my favorite scene, like yours, is in episode 54, this one is definitely high up on the list, and unlike the live action movie, you did it justice. If you ever come around to doing more FMA video essays, I am sure to stick around and watch those too. Hopefully I will. I have like at least one more FMA video essay I really want to do, and I was supposed to do it a while back and then I never got around to it. It's the one about episode 54. I've wanted to make a video essay about episode 54 for years. Maybe I will do it this summer. It kind of depends on if I get cast in a show or not, but otherwise I really want to do YouTube and composing a lot. I got So many lovely comments on my Ballad of Jane Doe stairwell cover. I am still kind of blown away by the reception that video got to this day. At Happy Chaos of the North, gorgeous voice. I really got a kick out of the part where you sing "A Choir Never Complete." I think you'd make a great Jane Doe. Oh, I hope so. At Ryuzaki 902, someone get them a role as Jane Doe. I actually need to see you on Broadway someday. Not a want, a need. Gorgeous singing. I am so genuinely in awe. At Calico Boy _, stop, I thought you were the OG actress for a hot second. You're so talented. This is so beautiful, and you hit those high notes so flawlessly. Ugh, I love this so much. Purple heart, purple heart, purple heart. I love my purple hearts. At Masky Film Z117, that breath control. I love your voice so much. You move from the reverberating and haunting vocals of an alto and rise to the mind-blowing heights of a soprano seemingly without much effort. Singers like you are the reason I love musical theater, opera, and music in general. Oh my goodness. It's so funny how I got so many comments on that video being like, she needs to play Jane Doe on Broadway, and also comments saying like I sounded just like Emily Rome, because like my college did Ride the Cyclone that year and I didn't get cast, but like hopefully I will one day. On Singing Dust and Ashes in a Stairwell, at Rachel Bolam 2138 commented, I will always come back to this cover, so gorgeous and inspirational. On my Fullmetal Alchemist Foundations of Decay AMV, at Starlight Song 1 commented, okay, this video is genuinely amazing, and all I can think of to say is that right before watching this, I had seen a post on Tumblr talking about how AMVs are dead and nobody makes them anymore, which prompted me to go looking for more recent AMVs, and I found this one after watching your From Now On video, and now I'm seriously questioning why this doesn't have more views. If people want more AMVs, they should watch and give likes and comments to ones like this! Everything just fits the lyrics and music so perfectly, and I love the way you ended it. I really, really appreciate comments like this, because that's like exactly what I want to do. I think AMVs are like a dying art form, and now it's kind of all just turning into like the same old like thirst traps set to the same songs on TikTok, and they're all like 20 seconds long, and nobody makes like full edits to like full songs with like a full story arc and clips like specifically selected to match the music and the lyrics, and like that's like something I really want to keep alive and something I'm really passionate about, and I love when people appreciate that. People had lots of really sweet things to say after the Mario movie video essay. At Writing Geek NL said, you have such a sweet voice to listen to. Honestly, I barely noticed the time I took with this video. I often think my voice is really annoying, so that was a very lovely and validating comment. At WikiBicky43, I never thought someone could give a genuinely emotional and complex breakdown of the Mario movie and have it be actually insightful and interesting. Bravo! Anything you do next that's like this, I'll be interested in. And then at WallaceDax1298 simply said, I love your energy, keep being you. 20 things I had never done before college. I made a comment in that video about how I don't have Riz. I think it was like, my roommate has Ace and I have no Riz, so like nobody's like bringing guys home. And then Max Shrek said, I don't have Riz. Lies. You have Riz. Trust yourself. Always count on Max to be my hype man. This was on my composer's breakdown of Shadows and Even Into Hell. At user-cs3mg2pm5s, I'm bringing out my inner Matt Rose in this video. I found your channel less than 2 months ago, and it's been great to see the little community people have formed here. I'll definitely be staying. I absolutely adore Even Into Hell and Shadows. They make me so emotional every time, and I admire how much work and passion you put into these beautiful songs. Riza and Roy are both such complex characters. I started loving them even more than I already did after watching your Roy video essay. Wow, just wow. Your videos send chills down my spine, and it's so nice seeing so nice seeing your thoughts and feelings be put into a musical format. I think you and Fiona did such an amazing job. Love, love, love all the little details that give these songs so much depth. I find it super cool and inspiring when people create art from their interests. I love the little community of this channel too. Like, I think of myself as a very small YouTuber, but I consider myself so lucky to have such like I love seeing like the same people comment on my videos over and over and over and feel like I really have like a relationship with the people who watch my videos, and it's great. This was also on my composer breakdown from my friend Jess at Lavender Whale, who makes some of the best AMVs and funniest YTPs I have ever seen. Please go watch her videos, they're amazing. She left this incredibly detailed like musical analysis that I just ate up. Some of what I'm about to say was probably not intentional, but I just want to gush about other points of how well this song works on a metrical sense and not just in a musical sense. As an English lit major, I noticed all the strong moments of poetic device and meter. I'd give you the things we know deep down we don't deserve is one of my favorite lyrics too, not just because of the sentiment, but the alliteration, and that the things we know deep down we don't deserve is literally iambic pentameter. It is. There's so much iambic verse. You're by my side and yet I'm so alone. My secret weapon and my better half, to name a couple more, and it gives the song's rhythm this steady heartbeat quality I really love. I pointed out how the meter of Even Into Hell was very iambic. But fittingly, Shadows is more trochaic, especially where Riza talks about herself. What that means is that many of the lines and important words end in unstressed syllables. Shadows, perfect, tunnel, or weak syllables, which I thought was very appropriate for how Riza sees herself and how she feels at her lowest here. Jess is so smart, and she always finds like the coolest little details in things I write, which like I'm not even aware of myself, but it's so cool that like people are picking up what I'm putting down. I love when people can pick out the little details and stuff I write because it makes me feel like a good writer. Peter-I1L1K simply says, "You were as mad as a box of frogs, but also a very bright young lady." I really love when I get like really nice and specific comments on videos that haven't really gotten a lot of views. Like it's great when I get nice stuff on like Curly's Lament and the Roy Eye videos and like my really popular stuff, but I like when people also notice the deeper cuts. Like this comment was on my Greenfinch and Linnetbird stairwell cover. Nellie Olson said, "Girl, you have a lovely voice. Your beautiful tone. I am finding it hard just to find just the right adjectives. Silvery, but richer than that. Sweet and shimmering. I love your vibrato. You are having fun in that stairwell. They do give the best harmonics, don't they? And these were all a cappella, but you were right on pitch and made all the correct intervals. You delighted me. Thank you. And thank you, Nellie, for such specific and lovely vocal notes." I have gotten many, many lovely comments on the weird and wonderful legacy of David Tennant, and it was so hard to narrow it down to just a few. I think I picked by far the most comments from this video out of any of the ones I'm using here. At Elytra404, "The end credits have the most I did the group project all by myself energy I've ever seen, and I love it so much. This video is wonderful. I did do the group project all by myself." At Kirby-esque, "No Olivier, no BAFTA. Hard to believe because his talent and hard work is unparalleled. But thank you, Lauren, for the work you've done here. At first I thought, no, I'm clearly not going to watch this entire thing, but you created something so compelling I couldn't stop watching. We love him too, and David, I think, would be proud that you were inspired. May we all carry on to be inspired by his acting work and most importantly, his kindness. You done good, kid." I think that was one of the most validating notes I consistently got on Weird and Wonderful Legacy was people who were like, this was like 2 hours and I stayed engaged the whole time. It's, yeah, that and Curly's Lament, because I also got that on Curly's Lament where people were like, this song is 9 minutes long and it didn't feel like it at all. At Tamari15, who I think I picked a couple more of this person's comments later on for the video. "I saw that you had finally uploaded this video while I was at a friend's house and I absolutely raced home to watch it. Listening to you talk about David Tennant is always such a pleasure. You're so passionate about him, it makes me grin from ear to ear. I can't wait to watch some of these shows and movies. The part about never fitting in really got to me as someone who feels the same and who really sees themselves in Crowley. It means a lot to know that other people relate to that so much. Also, congrats on the she, they pronouns. Welcome to the club. Thank you." At Little Cloud, "Clicked on this video because of David Tennant. Stayed because you blew my expectations out of the park. I heavily enjoyed watching you discuss David Tennant's roles with such enthusiasm and love that I do. Whether it's the need to make sure not to fall in love with Kilgrave, the fun the 10th Doctor has, or outlining how much Alec needs a hug, he does. I enjoyed seeing you discuss this in a fun and engaging manner that made me stay the 2 hours. I don't usually watch video essays as they seem too boring for me, but I stayed for this one for the energy and important discussion of who David Tennant plays and the actor himself's quality and delightfulness in real life and on screen. I've always wanted to write a video essay or discussion on David Tennant since I started watching him, and this video has taught me so much on what writing works or doesn't and how I can utilize my humor and energy into talking about a brilliant actor like him. Thank you again for an outstanding video." Oh my god, when people comment that they've like learned things from watching my YouTube videos, that's like one of the best compliments I can get. Like, truly crazy, because I think I don't know anything. At Mystic Missy, "I'm quite late to this, but this has to be one of my favorite video essays on earth. It so perfectly captures why David Tennant and the fandoms of the shows and movie season sparked such a sincere joy in me, in a way I haven't been able to explain to my family and friends. These corners of fandom are beautiful celebrations of nerdiness, neurodivergence, and queerness," which is exactly what I intend my YouTube channel to be. "And it's really come to love those sides of myself, even when I can't see how wonderful these aspects of myself sometimes are. Thanks for putting these ideas into words for me. It means a lot. cowboy hat emoji. And at Tamis Day said, listening to this reminded me of the first time I heard a Lady Knight the Brave video essay. Very unique voices, both of you, but also quite touching. I'm so excited to have been pointed towards your channel. This was a great tribute. Oh my god, getting compared to her is crazy. These two were both from my Out of Context 3 compilation. This one is from It's Margaret A 1240. Is it weird that I'm getting both gender and neurodivergence envy from watching this? The amount of people who have told me I give them gender envy in the past like year and a half is absolutely insane. Most of those comments are on YouTube community posts, so I'm not going to be able to like put them in this video because going through those would take way too long, and this already took long enough. But like getting those comments is crazy because like my Tumblr username is David Tennant Gender Envy, and now I feel like it's come full circle. We're like, I am the one who is giving people gender envy. And this is another one from Tamari15. This is a compilation that feels like it was made specifically to appeal to me. All of the best, funniest, and most relatable Lauren Rogers moments, one after the other in quick succession. I'm smiling so hard right now. Me too. That video where you sang about looking at pictures of David Tennant instead of sleeping is my favorite piece of musical comedy ever. And the fact that it isn't a well-known meme is the most devastating part of my life to date. Oh my god. Yeah, it all started with that video, didn't it? And now a few comments on the one and only Crowley's Lament. At Noon Darkly, I don't like musicals, and even I can appreciate the quality of this work. Thank you. The lyrics are mind-blowing, the instrument arrangements accentuate the all-too-familiar Crowley moods, but your voice carries it all. I absolutely loved the switch to the tender part, and basically every switch is masterfully done. I really hope the important people in the Good Omens world will get to see this, including David. You have a place secured in the field of theater. I sure hope so. Of that, I am sure. You have tremendous skills and talent. This is like an insanely long, like, musical analysis breakdown comment from at Unsightly Muse, and I really originally wasn't gonna read the whole thing, but I kind of feel like I have to because it's so good. Oh my gods, this is amazing. This is gorgeous. This is spectacular. This is divine. The instrumentation, the vocals, the lyricism, everything about this is just extraordinary. Timestamp 39 seconds. Less than a minute in, and we have already struck comedy gold. I adore how perfectly in character this is. You have really managed to capture the essence of Crowley within these first few opening moments. Many a time during my listen did I find myself thinking, oh yeah, Crowley would absolutely say that. Thank you. Time step 2 minutes and 8 seconds. You'd think my life was hellish, but it's more like purgatory. 2 minutes in, and we already have lines that could be considered poetry in their own right. Oh my god. 2 minutes and 53 seconds. I'm the stuff of nightmares, I'm not meant to have dreams. This line hurts so very much. Crowley was once a creator, a visionary, an optimist, a dreamer, and he was punished for this. Timestamp 3 minutes and 34 seconds. I must say, your voice is absolutely gorgeous. Your delivery of each of these lines is so visceral and emotive. Good word. Visceral, one of my favorite words. Timestamp 4 minutes and 17 seconds. Leitmotif spotted! This part is so tender and, well, reverent. It truly emphasizes the beacon of love and sunshine and hope that is Aziraphale's presence in Crowley's life. That's exactly what I was going for. He is the divinest of lights in the darkness of Crowley's blackened, bitter, broken heart. Timestamp 5:22. The things I would do to be graced by your glance, I'd make you my altar if I had the chance. This line is utterly profound. Human love and divine worship. The delicate interplay between these two ideas can be seen throughout the song, but especially here. Yeah, I do love that line. Timestamp 6 minutes and 9 seconds. Jesus Christ. This entire segment sent chills down my spine. Excellent use of tacit. I do hope I am using that term correctly. I think you are. At 6 minutes and 29 seconds. The sheer insurmountable grief and anguish that is present in Crowley's voice here is just truly devastating to listen to. Someone please give the poor dear a hug. Timestamp 8 minutes and 5 seconds. I can imagine Crowley sitting alone in the dark, softly singing this part to himself under his breath, glasses removed, eyes welling up with tears. Oh my god, that's exactly what I was imagining, but you just made it worse. This song completely blew me away. You are insanely talented, and you should be so very proud of this absolute masterpiece. I can guarantee that in a few years' time, this is sure to become a staple of the fandom. Seriously, this is genuinely one of the most incredible and emotionally devastating pieces of musical theater that I have ever listened to, and to think that it is a fan work, utterly astounding. Don't mind me, I am just going to be spending the next few days descending further and further into a state of madness as I listen to this musical masterpiece on loop. Oh my god, I'm kind of speechless. And finally, one of the greatest comments of all time that I have pinned on the Crowley's Lament video. At E57478. I would step on Lego bricks to hear this song for the first time again. That one is truly in the Lauren Rogers YouTube comment Hall of Fame. I just wanted to comment how many people on my Love Me Normally video and since that have commented that I got them into Will Wood, which is just so crazy and awesome. I mean, he's one of my favorite artists ever, and to expose any new people to his music is just such a net positive. Another one from Tamari15 on my David Tennant being a fashion icon short. Your obsession with David Tennant has changed my brain chemistry. Every time I see him, I go like, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. That's Lauren's guy! My brother has been watching Doctor Who, and every time I catch him watching him, I'm like, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Lauren's guy! I watched 2 seasons of Good Omens because of you, and the whole time I was like, a whole bunch more exclamation points. Lauren's effing guy! Oh my god. I couldn't think of a better person to have my name associated with. These are just a couple of really sweet comments some of my IRL friends left on my Finishing the Hat video. Margaret said, incredible as always, constantly in awe. And Anna said, I could literally go on for hours about how much I admire you. Phenomenal performance. These are 2 of my best friends from college. From Addie, it gives if Stephanie J. Block and Barrett Wilbert Weed had a baby. Second time I have been compared to Stephanie J. Block. This was on the short of me almost falling off the box during vacation and head over heels rehearsal. Some of my favorite comments that I have ever gotten are on my Being Autistic in Musical Theater video. Some really long, really moving comments that remind me why I make these videos. This one is from @Liz_poltergeist. I almost cried watching this video, not even a bad way. I feel really seen. Thank you. I'm glad you feel seen. I'm autistic, but I've always done pretty well socially in the same ways you describe. I really want to do theater professionally, and I've been doing community theater for a little while now. I booked a few good roles, but they all required a very elegant version of myself that I'm just not. I've always been a horrible dancer, and learning and performing dances is my least favorite part of it all. Even when I'm performing angry songs that aren't graceful and I'm putting my all in, I can't watch the recordings back because I just look wrong. I know exactly how you feel. My confidence took a big knock a few weeks ago, and I've been in a really big slump since. I feel imposter syndrome at my community theater, a group of about 30 other almost definitely neurodivergent people who I all love to pieces, so I can't even imagine what it might be like moving somewhere else filled with loads more talented people. There aren't a lot of opportunities theater-wise in the northeast of England, so for me, it's basically move to London or nothing. I'm so sorry. I really hate how theater scenes become like so focused on particular cities. It should really be more spread out. However, you talking about your experiences made me feel so much less isolated. It hadn't occurred to me that actual professionals could have the same insecurities as me, but of course it doesn't detract from their talent. And while being told my disability is actually a superpower has made me roll my eyes in the past, you really are right in that it's good to stand out and have your own way of doing things. My confidence has improved so much since I started performing, and you've helped me realize that I can't give that up for the sake of trying to suppress myself. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm autistic, and that's never going to change, and I've loved being autistic until this point, so why should I stop now? Yes, why should you? A few days ago, I made an application for a performing arts course at my college, and I was absolutely terrified I wouldn't be good enough until I watched this. I'm so grateful to you for sharing your experiences, helping me feel less alone, and being such a talented and inspirational creator. And this other one is from @JSelinaCoffee. Thank you so much for this video and your honesty. As a late diagnosed ADHD female, likely ADHD, theater was my greatest love and greatest heartbreak. I could memorize pages of dialogue or whole numbers in an hour, but would do an entire routine perfectly backwards, or forget a cue and cause a rehearsal to stop while holding back tears and feeling my brain go blank, then hit with electric shocks of self-loathing and doubt. Theater made me feel alive, connected to something. It empowered me, but trying to navigate these spaces often felt worse than not having it in my life at all. Constantly being told you're so talented, but feeling like there's something fundamentally wrong and keeping you from actualizing your vision and work and talent is agonizing. Yeah. Not to mention how I actually often felt more alone in professional theater spaces or courses than with the normies. The girls were so adjusted and experienced and dismissive. I can still feel the icy breezes of their curled hair and perfect wardrobe of all black matching sets, belting away, then filing sheet music into an impeccable chic school planner, into an impeccable chic tote. I'd go up in an explosion of frizz, over-bronzed olive skin, glitter nails, and glasses and feel any ounce of confidence snatched out of my body. Easily the most formative early traumatic experiences with rejection sensitivity disorder. I always made friends easily and got along with classmates, but in the place I thought I would be understood the most, I was probably appreciated the least. Sure, there were lots of other eccentric, fun art freaks, but wow, did I find myself in some painfully isolating places. I held in my tics, my jokes, my enthusiasm for my own favorite shows or numbers, my needs, my boundaries, my disappointments. My greatest lament is how much my teenage misdiagnosis, always told it was depression/anxiety, got in the way of my dreams. These days, I see my psychiatrist, I have meds, I understand myself, and I give myself so much more grace, but it's still a struggle sometimes. The world is not easy on neurodivergent girls especially, but I'm so thankful for the ones I meet and connect with and the support we can give each other. Keep being the incredible artist you are. You too. One of the reasons I've talked a lot in the past year about being autistic, I mean, maybe not so much on here, but like if you've met me in real life, you hear me talk about it like all the time. It's because destigmatizing autism is really, really important to me. If I end up being successful at anything of the things I want to do in life, I really want autistic kids to be able to have someone to look to and see that, you know, people like them can make it. People like us can make it. We have so few examples of that because so many people are afraid to talk about being autistic because they haven't been made to feel that it's safe to do so. And I really want to combat against that by just being honest about my experience and hopefully encouraging other people to do the same thing and making them feel less alone. So these comments mean a lot to me for that reason. This was just a really lovely comment I got on the short that I put out after the inauguration from my friend Luke. He said, "When Mr. Rogers told us to look for the helpers, I see he was talking about people like you." It's great when I get compliments on my singing. It's great when I get compliments on my acting, on my writing, on any of those artistic things. But here's the thing. I didn't get a lot of negative feedback for those things growing up. I got a lot of negative feedback on my personality. So no artistic accolade will ever mean as much to me as simply the knowledge that someone else's life is better off for me being there. At teatime8283 on my Crowley's Lament Undergraduate Research Day live performance, hear from Tumblr, "This is amazing! Way to tug on my heartstrings, and great acting. From that very first drop to the ground and small look around, I felt a shot of recognition, like, oh, that's not someone dressing up as Crowley. That just is Crowley." I'm very glad that I got so many comments like that and like compliments on my physicality and my embodiment of the character on that video, because like before I did the performance, I was so worried. I was like, oh, I don't feel in my body at all. And then no one's gonna look at me and see Crowley. I don't feel like I'm an accurate representation of the character. So knowing that I was wrong and how it would be perceived is it's a relief. On the video of me monologuing at my phone as Jinx with no rehearsal, at Ellie Myths said, "Why did I immediately start crying?" I think that's because that is what I wanted you to do, and the scene is very sad, so I'm glad I succeeded. People had so many lovely things to say on the Dead Girl Walking self-tape for the Heather's Open Call. Spoiler alert, I did not end up getting cast as Veronica, shout out Lorna Courtney, but it was definitely worth it because people had so many lovely things to say. At Amelie Jones 2371, "OMG, if you don't get cast, I might combust because this is phenomenal." Grim Bunny 24, "You've got the look, the voice, everything. You're my fave Veronica now." Terry K. Monte, "Casting directors, I hope you're paying attention because this is it." Kaylee 5137, "Hashtag Lauren for Veronica 2025. And I got so many lovely comments from a lot of my musical theater classmates from OCU. Shout out in particular to Abby Stevenson, who said, "Oh my god, you better sing!" Abby, I've already said this, but I want to be you when I grow up. So that comment made my day. One of my Tumblr mutuals, Sammy Berry, on my Heaven on Their Minds cover, commented, "Manifesting this role for you for the 60th anniversary of JCS. God, I wish." I have saved for last a few select people who have consistently left absolutely incredible comments on my videos. Some of them are people I know in real life, some of them I only know via their consistent YouTube support, but I am incredibly grateful nonetheless. The first person I'd like to shout out is at Ubon2, who consistently leaves some of the longest, most eloquent, articulate, just a YouTuber's dream comments in my comment section. She's also like a retired opera singer, which is so cool. She's like the grandma of my comment section. Every time I get a comment from her, I'm just like, ee. This was the comment she left on The Weird and Wonderful Legacy of David Tennant. It's a long ride, but it's worth it. Your all-encompassing, exquisitely and masterfully executed essay so overwhelmed me that at 1 a.m. when I finished, I literally had to force myself to shut down my tablet and my brain to rest, otherwise I would have been up the entire night into today. First of all, I want to thank you for the hours of work and collaboration that produced this thorough and utterly thoughtful presentation. I have devoured a great deal of online content in addition to the movies and TV shows that I can find about David Tennant, and most of what I have found, although fascinating, is on the intellectual side. Your essay and delivery captured and conveyed my feelings for this man and for his body of work like no other, which I have just in the last 3 months become acquainted with. My heart literally aches from the love that radiates from his person and portrayals. You deserve the highest awards for your research, presentation, brilliant thoughtfulness, and care in your treatment of the material you amassed. I wish all of David's fans could have access to this essay. I actually wish that David himself could hear this, although I am sure that he would be mortified and embarrassed. Well, he knows it exists now, so who knows? More than that, I wish that I could have a coffee or a Zoom with you because your enthusiasm and feelings thrilled me that someone else on this planet thinks of him in a way so similar to my own thoughts and feelings. Yuban, if you're still out there, I'm available. Let's do it. Please, please. You're so cool. You are at the beginning of your life. I am in the last phase of mine, and yet I feel the same youthful excitement about the man as you expressed. It is as if, through his talent and personality, we experience a glimmer of the universal, eternal love meant for and therefore all humanity, which very few actually tap into or recognize. Yes, I read that David declined the OBE. That fact, and the result of watching a gazillion interviews in which he speaks from his heart, from which one can see his warm, authentic, candid, inviting, skillful, unscripted self, all excellent word choices. Olivia Colman, who I love and adore almost as much as David, said in her tribute to David that he has no ego. You said the same here. However, I wholly and fiercely disagree. Ego is imperative for human beings to have. To what degree, or lack thereof, determines its value. Psychoanalysis defines ego as the part of the mind that mediates between the conscious and the unconscious and is responsible for reality testing and a sense of personal identity. Without a sense of personal identity, there is nothing but a shell of a personality within the body's frame. It is only when the ego is overblown that it is detrimental to the self and those around that person. David has the healthiest ego of anyone I have ever met or seen in private or in public. What I think she meant is that David is completely and utterly authentic, without airs, and who is totally uninhibited in his mind and in his body in the roles that he takes on as an actor and when interfacing others as himself. His private fears, which he has also made public, somehow he has found the inner fortitude to leave behind when he has a task at hand. I mean, how inspiring is that, to know that he is imperfect like the rest of us, but that he has mastered the ability, will, and strength to go beyond his fears. The results of such are pure magic. What is so touching to me is how he gives everyone a sense of being important and having his full attention during interactions. I have seen him treat the most idiotic and ridiculously repetitive question at the same Q&A session with respect and care when he could have easily dismissed the person and their question. I love how no matter how often interviewers or the public try to paint him into a corner, he skillfully, with great humor and elan, dodges pitfalls and even manages to make the other person feel good about his not answering. Asking him which roles he prefers, or to reveal a bad date, or any question in which he might inadvertently make another feel less worthy, he always comes out smelling like a rose. He simply refuses to judge or pick sides. I just love that he refuses to disparage anyone except for those who deserve his righteous indignation, like government officials who don't protect its citizens, like in the example you showed. I loved your thoughts on the difference of his physicality and acting. I heard him speak about voice acting and how one does not have to have facial expressions to get a mood or feeling across. I just recently saw Des, which he also helped to produce, and in an interview he said that he did not want to glorify the murderer, but rather wanted to treat the victim's memory and families with respect, while at the same time revealing what they could about the time and circumstances in which the events were set. I almost did not watch it, afraid that it would ruin something for me about him as an actor. The quiet calculation behind his dead eyes was chilling to the bone, but still managed to be a multidimensional portrayal. That portrayal further cemented my appreciation for his mastery of storytelling in any given moment he finds himself asked to convey, be it silly or grave. He has also said that no one is all good or evil, and that He tries to find the oh my god. He tries to find the humanity in all of the characters he embodies. After watching Recovery here on YouTube, someone gave DT a backhanded compliment admonishing him for not taking on more serious roles like the one in that movie versus his sillier portrayals on TV. One has to switch up and delve into lighthearted worlds as well in order to be able to revisit the dark ones. I spent 30 years as an opera singer, and most of the characters I portrayed / embodied died at the end or experienced great trauma. Despite engaging in make-believe, anyone who truly embodies a role to the extent that David does, a great toll is taken on the mind and body. There is so much more to say, but this is much longer than you might want your viewers to engage in, so I will leave the rest of my thoughts for another time. Many thanks, and when time and opportunity allows, please give us more content. I don't think I realized how meaty a comment that was until I had to read it out loud, but it's so good. It almost feels like it should be like an extra portion in the video essay. She put into words so many wonderful and accurate things. This was a much shorter but still very lovely comment that she left on my performance of Das Veilchen from my junior classical voice recital. Your German pronunciation, understanding, and Betonung, I have to look up what that means, are all excellent. And please allow me this comment, after all your belting and musicals, your pure classical voice and style comprehension are impressively outstanding. Brava. Here's the comment she left on Crowley's Lament. Until I could devote my full attention to this lament, I waited to listen. What happened during and after listening astonished me, or as Crowley said on numerous occasions, you amazed me, even though I expected nothing less. If I feel this way after one hearing, I cannot begin to imagine how you feel, having conceived, composed, performed it, and set your precious content free to go off into the world. Comments that I've read have beautifully and rightly praised every element from the incredibly beautiful and clever thumbnail, to your compositional, vocal, dramatic, and performative skills, to your commitment to every detail heard, seen, and unseen. However, I want to comment on something so overwhelmingly beautiful yet subtle that so far no comment I've read yet remarked on. The fluctuations in tempo and mood are framed by some of the most exquisite stops and silences that I've ever experienced. Only the most mature or gifted musicians are even aware of, know how to employ, or know that rests, when employed with purpose, can speak, ring, or resonate louder than words or music ever can. Most see rests in musical notation as something to count through or wait on until the action begins again. In your skillful hands, they stand out in my mind's ear, like sparkling diamonds or moonlight shimmering on water. As social media is a living, breathing entity of itself, may Crowley's Lament, like your clip on David's BAFTA photo shoot, reach the upper echelons, bringing you and your plethora of talents the recognition you so rightfully deserve and have earned. I am excited to see what you have up your sleeve. Yours is an exciting life, and you truly are making the most out of it. P.S., and if you will allow me, I would like to add that your use of Sprechstimme, love that word, great music major word, belting, chest, mixed, and head voices is truly remarkable, and I applaud you. Ooh, she gave me some vocal notes. Education. As a retired voice teacher, coach, and instructor, I would like to offer some unsolicited suggestions, especially because I watched the video you made after a full day of recording and have heard how understandably exhausted your voice was. So listening and hearing how beautiful your final cut is impressive, to be sure. Here is a word of caution. If you bleed / press / drive your emotions onto your vocal instrument versus allowing your emotions to flow through your vocal instrument, you may run into trouble which could impede your inevitable projection to the world at large. In other words, try to avoid literally crying yourself. Let us cry, which we did, from the brilliance of sound and commitment to your feelings and content. In doing so, your gorgeous voice will have more time and room in which to bloom, resonate, and ring. Really appreciated that. I love a good note. I really do. Okay, my next commenter that I would like to specifically highlight is at GrimBunny24, who has left just some of the loveliest and most specific comments recently on my Full Metal Alchemist songs, among other things. On Crowley's Lament Live, I love every version. This one is hands down my favorite. In every version, you seem to display an understanding of the character that is brilliant and feels, in a sense, inexplicably unreachable. Like, did Crowley just possess your body and use it as a vessel to express his woes? Timestamp 6 minutes, 23 seconds. Around here, it feels like he's reliving it and he just loses his mind. And not gonna lie, it feels like I'm his therapist friend / positive. Monologuing at my phone as Jinx. This with no rehearsal. How? This is amazing. This defies the laws of science. Dear God, I haven't even seen Arcane and my heart hurts from this performance. On Only Human. Oh, okay, this is everything. I can distinctly tell which character is which despite them having the same voice behind them. That's quite a feat, and honestly, it just goes to show your level of talent. Also, this musical just might get me more into Full Metal Alchemist. I mean, I liked it plenty back in the day, but this will definitely renew my interest with a bit more vigor. Good. And my god, I'm complicit in the system. Oof, that hit. The fact that by being in the same community, the same group as people like Tucker, he is part of the problem, and he never knew. All this time, Edward never knew. It's amazing how one can be an accomplice to a crime they are unaware of, all because they were never in a place to know, whether by will, coincidence, or another's design. It's chilling, horrifying. I haven't felt like this since listening to Cabaret, and do take that as the sincerest compliment. I absolutely will. One of the best pieces of media I could possibly receive a comparison to. Jesus Christ. And this is their comment on Scar's soliloquy. Oh my god, this is perfect. This clearly illustrates the mind of someone who has been mangled by a system that claims to be right, now fearing they are as bad as those who hurt them. Am I the one that someone must be saved from? My god, I'm drinking lyrics like that the same way I drink down a pumpkin spice latte the second fall hits. I try to savor it, enjoying every sip in excitement and joy, and each one brings more focus. Delightful metaphor, by the way. I give more of a damn about this series with every song. I'm growing hooked. I also would like to shout out a couple of posts that this person has made on Tumblr that this one I hadn't seen until I was searching for another post, and this one came up. This is a really, really lovely post about Crowley's Lament and Even Into Hell. If you haven't already listened to this, here you go. Crowley's Lament by Lauren Rogers is the most masterfully written Good Omens fan-made song I have seen thus far. Created by a theater major who has been performing for many years and has already written a beautiful musical contribution for another fandom, Crowley's Lament is 8 engaging minutes of emotion, layers of lyrical beauty, and demonstration of an incredible talent. The acting and singing are well blended to express every intended emotion. Their characterization of Crowley seems to align perfectly with the show, as if Lauren Rogers was somehow able to look into the very soul of the character and see something that oddly feels overlooked. What more can I say to express the beauty of this song without spoiling how that comes with the first listen? I implore you, please listen to this fan-made masterpiece and hear the wonder for yourself. Prior to the release of Crowley's Lament, Lauren Rogers created Even Into Hell, a passionate duet between two members of the military, hoping to settle a war, move on from their broken past, and hopefully find a way to be together in some capacity. Once again, this is a demonstration of strong acting and vocal talent. I hope you enjoy these songs, and please look into Lauren Rogers' channel. I encourage you to support this incredibly talented artist and fun YouTuber. And last but not least for this particular person, so my Phileas Fogg Pierre edit kind of unexpectedly popped off on Tumblr with some really hilarious results in this particular instance. So Grim Bunny says, show 2 of my friends this video. Their response, he looks like he needs toxic doomed yaoi, and oop, oh, he's having a mental breakdown. He sure is. And I'm just gonna let this Discord exchange speak for itself. This is the first comment I ever received on my channel from my dearest, most brilliant friend, Fiona. She left this comment on Even Into Hell, and she is now my co-writer for a full musical adaptation of Full Metal Alchemist, which would not have happened if she hadn't left this comment on my Royai song. What an amazing song for the most amazing couple. I really like the lyrics and melody a lot. Your singing was also chef's kiss. In my mind, I'm already adding a violin or a cello here and there, or some deep drums for the orchestrations. Thank you for writing and singing this beautiful song. I will definitely come back to this. And that's how it all started. I saw this comment and I was like, ooh, she's having thoughts. I am and have always been a whore for feedback, and Fiona's is always so thoughtful and specific and kind. Love you, girl. And last but not least, the absolute queen of my comment sections, who is now also one of my best friends, the one and only at Sylvia Mayo. Sylvia started leaving comments on my videos, I believe a couple of months before I put out the David Tennant video essay. She consistently has some of the wittiest and most delightful things to say. We have a running joke where I yell at her for consistently being funnier than me in my own comment sections. We started talking on Discord and then over text, and ever since we've pretty much just hit it off in every way imaginable. So I'm just gonna read some of my favorite comments of hers now, some of which are very long and thoughtful and sweet, and some of which are simply immaculate shitposting. This one's on my extremely old cover of All I Want for Christmas Is You. So true of this video to include so many deeply unhinged guys and murderers, and then also Emmett Forrest. This one's on the short where I sang I Won't Send Roses. I've probably said this before, but I spend so much time being blown away by the power of your belting that I sometimes forget how effective your head voice is. Thank you. People don't talk about my head voice very much, so it's great to hear that. The timbre shift on There's a Fighting Chance was insane. One of my favorite comments of hers was on my Life of the Party YouTube short, where she simply commented, Lauren Rogers losing it scene. This, of course, being in reference to the concept of the David Tennant losing it scene, which I sort of codified in my video essay. Truly one of the most flattering comparisons I have ever received as an actor. So I had to send in a self-tape of O mio bambino caro to audition for my school's production of Gianni Schicchi. While practicing for this, I frequently discussed with Sylvia my struggle in reaching the pianissimo on the final A in this piece of music. Sylvia, of course, having the memory of an elephant, commented when I finally posted the self-tape a few weeks later, "She peeing on my issy till I mow." I mean, truly, the words of a genius. This one's on Curly's Lament. I don't know what to do. I knew it was gonna be amazing, but I didn't expect it to hurt so much. What in the final layer is this? I'm genuinely shaking. How did you encapsulate the agony and betrayal of the final 15 so well? This is the second time in my life that one of my compositions has been compared to Final Lair from Phantom of the Opera. Never gets old. Never. On Weird and Wonderful Legacy. Holy shit, I knew I would have a blast watching this, but I wasn't prepared for how creatively and aptly you were able to encapsulate what makes him an amazing performer in person, or for how impactful and significant your relationship with his characters would be. This is a wonderful deep dive, and I cannot wait to have more DTMT brain rot with you. Seriously, we need to start a David Tennant musical theater fan branch or something. And then we basically did. And then a year later, she left this. Happy 1-year anniversary of me watching this for the first time and launching into the Lauren Rogers hyperfixation section of my David Tennant hyperfixation. Thank you to Lauren for showing me Curly's Lament sheet music, arguing with me about fan casting DT in musicals, and letting me partially adopt your fascination with Will Wood. May our autistic ruminations never cease. She left an extremely long, loaded with timestamps, very nerdy comment on, Weird and Wonderful Legacy Part 2 that I do not have the energy to read out in full, but you should definitely go look at it. It's glorious. It's art. Sylvia Mayo, the woman that you are. I really hope this didn't seem too long or vain or self-indulgent. Perhaps I also need to do a hate comments video to keep myself humble. But the honest truth is that this is kind of something I needed to do for my self-esteem. When you are as busy and exhaustion prone and rejection sensitive as I often am, it is very easy to forget that you are capable of doing really cool stuff and that your art has a positive impact on people, and I really kind of just needed to remind myself of that through this video, and I really appreciated giving myself this little chance to walk down memory lane and thank some of you guys for the wonderful, extremely kind support you have given me over the years. And now I have a whole bunch of the nicest things anyone has ever said to me all in one nice little place, so I can go back to it whenever I need it. Expect a real video soon. I'm hoping to put out definitely some more singing stuff, and also hopefully at least 1 or 2 video essays this summer, and maybe some original stuff too. Toodles!